I've found it genuinely really very difficult to fork these IEMs. Considering the price range they sit in, I've just fallen in love with these considering how nice they sound. I will try and figure out what I don't like by the end of this review, I promise. But of course, thank you to the folk at Kefine for making this review possible by sending me this demo unit. All thoughts and opinions are my own as always. So let's quickly jump into the unboxing and the build quality. These come in a very simple unboxing experience. It's not too grand or anything, which is nice. It's pretty straightforward. But of course, you do get the IEMs in the box, which are of course made quite nicely. I will talk about those soon. You will get the cable as well, and you do get some literature as you would expect. And you also do get a few extra ear tips. I wouldn't say extra, but there are a total of 6 pairs, and you do get the differently colored ones. They are slightly differently bored as well, depending on what kind of tonal quality you want from your IEMs. And what's really nice is here's a new looking sort of carry pouch. I've not seen this kind from Kefine before. It is sort of kind of, well, you can say tension loaded, so you can pop them in there and close it, which is a very nice touch. Now, what's very cool is also the guys at Kefine have sent me something pretty new. This is the Kefine Duo mic. It is an additional cable that has a dual mic on it. So I will talk about this real soon. Jumping over to the IEMs. These do have a pretty nice finish to them. In fact, the faceplate is metallic. So you can hear that. It is definitely nicely finished. I like that it's so simple. In fact, there's nothing loud about this. There's no major branding or anything on this. It's quite discreet, very nicely done. You will see the Loric name written over there on the bottom part of the IEMs, of course, with the left and right markings. You will see the section where you have to put the IEMs, of course, over there. Not the IEM, the cable. It does have a rather large filter over there. I have found this to be comfortable. At no point have I found these IEMs uncomfortable, despite having a very large bore here. They are still pretty small IEMs, so they're very comfortable, easy to forget you're wearing them. And of course, the metal section does get cold depending on where you are in an AC room or if you're in a cold climate. But the inside does have this sort of resin-like finish. Now, I have seen IEMs with this that have, messy gluing that's been put over here. But over here, I have to say it's done very neatly. It does have a little screw to anchor it, but there is glue. You can see, I think, one dot somewhere or wherever else. I have spotted it, but it's definitely very well done. Attention to detail is pretty top notch considering the price of these IEMs. And then moving on to the cable. Well, this cable, this is the one that is provided with it. It is terminated to a 3.5 mm on one side and the 0.78 mm on the other, so you can connect it to your IEMs. Now, these are marked, of course, with the right and left markings. This cable does not come with any microphone. It is just audio, but they have sent me, like I did mention, the Kefine Duo mic cable. Now, what's cool about this cable is, I mean, it's much the same. The overall, I think, sizing of it and the quality is much the same. It does have a slightly different look to it, but this also does terminate to a 0.78 where you connect to the IEMs, of course. But the other side of this is terminated to a it's terminated to a USB-C. And what I like is that it's got this L mount. It's not a straight out sort of USB type C. You can plug it into your phone and use it for gaming, which is quite neat. It's definitely, they put thought into this, so you can put it this away or even this away, depending on what you prefer. And what's cool is when you move on over to the upper part of the microphone, you will see this little module over here. Now, this module does have this microphone over here that you can use. It does have volume up and down button. It has play pause. But if you press and hold these buttons, it also toggles between a music mode, a game mode, and normal mode as well, which is cool. You can go through those for slightly different tunings. And it has this little slider here, you'll see. So when it's on the lower section here, it will use the microphone on the module here. And when you push it higher up, it goes onto the boom microphone, which is found here. Now, this boom microphone can be dismounted from here. You can remove it. And what's cool about it, if you look carefully, they've tried to make sure that you can know how to connect it back. So these two sides that have the blue dots is where they have to be connected. If you pull it out and swap it the other way around, you might change the polarity, so your quality will go. But this is the way to do it. And this does, of course, connect to the IEM on the right. So then moving on to the mic, it does have this nice pop filter, definitely very nicely done. And when you take this off, you will also see the overall fit and finish of this module is definitely very well done. They've put in a lot of sort of thought and effort into this, and this is of course the side that faces your mouth. So anyway, if you do want to know how this microphone will sound, or should I say either of these microphones will sound when you're gaming or talking to any of your buddies over a call or a game, here's a quick demo to show you how they perform. I'm talking to you from the confines of my studio so you can get a sense of what the microphone on my phone will sound. And I'll shift over to the duo mic right about now when this clicks. Recording audio through headset. So it's just handed over to this microphone. I do have the selector on this microphone, so I'll just tap on that to show you that that's being used and not the boom mic. So what I like about this is that it's mounted a little higher up than I've seen with some other IEM cables. A lot of them it's lower down, so it's too far away from the mouth. So if you don't want to use this mic, it can be detached, of course, and this is pretty close, and this is the overall vocal tonality you can expect. If you're not using the boom mic, this is how this will sound at this distance, and of course if you hold it closer to your mouth, the tonal quality will shift and the volume as well. Now if you want to use the boom mic, you just have to go to the selector and switch on over. So now I am on the boom. So if I tap this, you won't hear this tapping. This is engaged now. So you have the option to switch between both mics for whatever reason. This is the duo mic. So anyway, I do hope that this overall test has given you a better understanding for how these microphones will perform. And I'll see you in the chapter about sound. These come with 10 dynamic drivers, have a frequency response of 20 Hz all the way up to 20,000 Hz, and have a very easy to drive low resistance of just 20 ohms. Now, I have been pairing this with my Roses Elsa RZ550. It's a beautiful little powerful DAC amp, and I have been using it for a lot of the testing I do, and it's definitely something I would recommend you get if you do want a good powerful DAC. Now, this is I think pretty well paired with this. I think this is the best it can sound, no doubt. On a volume front, this thing drives very easily. I've sat maybe at about 20-25% volume while boosting via my Android phone. Now, there have been times I've gone up to a 30 and 35% volume, but that's just to enjoy the music a bit more. The low frequencies do open up a bit when you take the volume up, no doubt. But I will say at lower volumes, it does maintain a good sense of dynamics. It does sound pretty well rounded in the highs and the lows as well, with a more powerful DAC amp like I have. Now, in terms of its imaging, well, this is where I do think it's a very good performer, but I will say it does lean towards more being warm sounding. And this is something that Kefine has been doing for a long time. At least ever since I have reviewed any of their IEMs, I found that they always lean towards being a little more warm sounding than bright, which I do prefer. To me, it sounds more musical in a sense, and these IEMs do exactly that. Now, where I am trying to figure out where I can find something negative about this, I think it's pretty well paired with this little DAC amp that I have, but because of that little duo mic cable that they've sent me as well, I will say that its overall imaging with that mic in particular is not very great. And by that mic, I mean it has its own little DAC in it. It does have its own little chipset in it. So I wouldn't say that that's the best pairing with for the Loric, at least, because I'm sure they're trying to maintain a certain amount of cost. They don't want it to go too high, so they've not used the best DAC amp in that specific cable. I think it's more catered towards being a microphone than it is for overall audio clarity and dynamics. Now, I think the overall performance you will get out of these relies a lot on its the DAC amp you pair it with. So this is definitely a transparent sounding set of IEMs, and I've noticed that with the A/B testing I've done between my DAC amp and the duo microphone specific DAC. So I will say with the better pairing, its details, its overall imaging, clarity, resolution, whatever high-res files are thrown to it, it does pretty well. It's a very enjoyable set of IEMs to listen to. Yes, it is sharp, it is detailed, but not to an extent where it leans towards being bright. Those blades are a bit edged. I mean, they've got curved edges. They're not too sharp. It's not going to cut through your ear and offend you or hurt your ears in any way. So imaging is great. Another thing that is affected, very obviously, because of the different DAC and amps, is its overall staging. I have noticed that with the RZ550, it stages considerably wider. There are some things that sound like they're coming from up here, maybe an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches out of my noggin. But with the duo mic setup, everything sort of collapses in on itself. It doesn't really sound as wide as I know it can sound. It suddenly collapses within your head. There is kind of a sphere that exists within your head, but it's sort of the slight vertical stage that you have disappears. It just becomes sort of horizontal and between your ears within your head. So it definitely loses staging there. I was expecting maybe a lot more stage from that cable, considering it's more, I think it's more gaming oriented than anything else. So I would say that if you do want to use this for gaming and you don't need a microphone, use a better DAC amp. It will give you that size, it will give you that space and that air of breathability. Moving on to its overall tuning. Well, I will say that this does have a specific graph that I mean, I'm sure those are the accurate measurements it's got. It does appear to have boosted low frequencies and boosted highs with recessed mids. It does seem to target some sort of Harman curve, but it doesn't sound the way it looks to me, at least. It sounds way more balanced than the way it looks. In fact, so much so, you can get by with these IEMs not focusing so much on what's boosted and what's not, because the way they've tuned it, it sounds not only balanced but very natural sounding. And I'm not necessarily talking about its timbre, I'm talking about the level of effortness, the way it gives you its overall music performance. So much so, I've found myself enjoying my music more with this than really spending time reviewing it, because the way they've done it is, it seems rather like it's very comfortable in its own skin. At no point has it sounded like it tries to or wants to impress you with certain frequencies, which I have experienced with some IEMs in the past, where they elevate bass too much or they elevate upper mids way too much. This is very comfortable in its own skin. Now, having said that, the low frequencies are definitely a little boosted. It's not totally balanced, and I know that because there are some things in classical music that don't come out as prominently with completely transparent or neutral sounding IEMs. This does have that little bit of weight. It does have that little bit of oomph, which does make music listening fun. So whether I threw classical or EDM at this, it's been very comfortable playing back all sorts of genres. I would pair it more so with maybe slightly lighter music, because that's what I prefer. But I will say it was fun to listen to a whole bunch of electronic music. But at the same time, if you are a bass enthusiast, I don't think you'll like the way this does its bass. It's definitely a lot tighter. It's definitely well defined. It's not at any point spewing bass out at you. It is very controlled. It is very sort of distinguished in its bass presentation. Mids, when it comes to the vocals and instrumentation, terrific separation here, and I think it's done just right. At no point has it sounded too forward or too recessed. It's Goldilocks. It's right there where it needs to be. High frequencies, I think, come through very cleanly and smoothly. There's only, I think, one instance where I felt that the highs were a little too sharp for my taste, which is when I just went into social media and scrolled through something, and a lot of the audio in those is terrifically distorted. It's not right, basically. Something there really did cut through, because I don't think anybody bothers with audio quality in Instagram sort of uploads and so on. And something there did definitely hurt the ear. But when you come back to high-res streaming, or if you use your offline media, I think this is a very good overall performer in terms of its whole musicality. And I would say this is a very musical sounding set of IEMs. So to sum up, I think this is a very impressive little set of IEMs. I'd say this is still kind of affordable. It's not exactly the most affordable, but it's like an in-between. And it's honestly, I think, a very well tuned and a very well built set of IEMs that can last you a long time if you look after them. Don't go sitting on them and throwing them around, and it will last you a very long time, no doubt. Very nice build quality. I like that they've got that metal plate on the face. It's definitely very tastefully done. It's not too loud. I really do like how they've tuned it. Kefine, I find very difficult to fault, because I myself like warm sounding everything, be it speakers, headphones or IEMs, and they've done it pretty nicely with the right amount of the bass accentuation. It's not too big, it's not sort of loose sounding, it's not bloated, and it's not spewing itself at you. So it's definitely very tastefully done. Now, it's nice that they've made that Kefine duo mic, no doubt, but I mean, if you've not heard the call demo or the mic quality, head on over to that part of the video. The chapter is there. I'm sure it's very nice for people who want to talk. But the one gripe I have with this specific piece is it's not fair again to say this, but if they were able to give better power or even a better DAC chip, I think it would be significantly better, or at least a DAC chip that was good enough to give you much wider stage than this specific chip is able to do, because the Loric paired with it is a very capable set of IEMs, and when you use that duo mic, it sort of, brings it down a bit. It doesn't give you that full potential that these can really give you. The concept of two mics, I think, is interesting. I've not seen this before. I don't see how somebody would want to do that unless you really are on sort of competitive gaming and you want a boom mic, and then for casual moving around you can sort of unplug that and just use the sort of lapel-ish microphone over there. But it is a nice concept, no doubt. But yeah, anyway, if you are looking for starter set of IEMs that won't set you back too much, I would recommend the Loric. And of course, coming to the price, if you do want to buy these, the Loric is available for I think around 29 or around 28 to 29 starting, and it goes up to over $36 depending on if you want the 3.5 mm or the mic variant and so on. Different permutation combinations are there. I will leave the links down below. It does come in a black variant as well, apart from the silver. That black kind of reminds you of the coloring of the old Kefine Delchis that I did review. A very nice look. And of course, the duo mic is also available, and if I'm not mistaken, it should go for anywhere between 15 to 20 USD, and I will leave all the information down below. So anyway, that's been my review on the Kefine Loric as well as the Kefine Duo mic, and I do hope that this review has given you a better understanding for both of these products, and I do hope that I've helped you make some sort of purchase decision. If you would like to help support the channel, I'm sure you know exactly how to, but of course, thank you for tuning in for some sound advice.